Good morning, day 7, can't do that with one hand. I thought I'd wear an ironic t-shirt today, and I'm doing that whole YouTuber like content creator thing, holding the mic. I've got nothing to hang it on to, but you're not going to see me anyway today because we're going to look at this here room. Now, before we do this, real quick, normally I've got like a purpose to these things, but now I just feel compelled to show you around the gym. I haven't really got a story attached to it. Well, I think I have, maybe. I'm just not entirely sure what to do with the space. Maybe talking it through with you lot might help me out with that a little bit. So anyway, let me show you around, and then maybe you could give me a bit of advice in the comments below. And I always keep forgetting to say about subscribing, and if you give it a like and a comment, it actually helps these videos loads. I know some of you watch these videos and you send me like individual messages and stuff. That's great. It does really help me if you leave a comment on the actual channel. Anyway, let's go around. The studio you saw the other day is the other side of the glass there. So I've been out and done my long run, got super lost in the woods today, ended up being about 50 minutes, which is perfect, a little bit of walking, a little bit of running, had a fab day, and I've got a back workout to do today, and then that's my 7 days done. The gravel bike, commuter bike, whatever you might want to call it, this pretty much lives here, ready to go, shoes are there, hat, glasses, this is the bike I ride most at the minute, more on the bikes in a bit, but you know, those of you that know the channel really well will know that I used to be an avid commuter. It just sort of hasn't worked a bit, the whole riding a bike thing the last year or so. I think it actually stems from one thing and one thing alone, but we'll come to that in a bit. Whiteboard that I end up using quite a lot to kind of make notes on when I'm starting something new. So this is all the workouts actually that you can see in the description on that first video. As I said before, patio, some memorabilia, jerseys and things like that look familiar. A light for me to film the videos in, and that sits above this treadmill, which I've had more or less since we moved in, and I did use it a lot. I used Zwift on both the turbo and on that, and I don't use Zwift at all, and actually I very rarely use the turbo or the running treadmill at all. Let's talk about that in a bit. It's a very good treadmill, and it's also a very good turbo trainer. Wahoo, whatever it is, Kicker Core thingy, don't actually know. Kicker Core, yeah, exactly right. Wow, good guess. And a beautiful felt B16. That is my first ever brand new racing bike that I'd ever bought. And of course it didn't have drop handlebars on it. But yeah, my first ever time trial bike. It feels like a bit of a crime to have it on a turbo, but there we are, that's what's going on there. This wall, by the way, those of you eagle-eyed amongst you will spot it's Pierre Mondrian design, which is this La Vie Claire look jersey design back in the 80s when I first got into cycling. So I did that wall in that kind of finish. And on the wall, now this is the wall of fame, if you like. My favourite time trialist, time trialling. This here bike, maybe we'll talk about that in a bit, is the discipline I absolutely fell in love with cycling in the first place. So it stands to reason that all my favourite cyclists are outstanding time trialists. Of course, you've got Sir Wiggins at the top here. I believe that was his last ever race in the World Champs colours, Tour of California or something. World record, hour record, leading out Cav in the Tour de France when he knew he'd won it. Interesting enough, I talked about this in another video where he actually presses the bike computer to stop it before he does the punch in the air. That is the Olympic time trial in 2012. And then you got Chris Boardman, absolute superstar. David Miller, probably my biggest influence in terms of mindset and everything. Look at that position. And he was the influence for buying the felt, actually. Not that he's riding one there. Some weird, interesting things. You can see his brake calipers, his brake levers there at a weird angle. And this is when he won a stage of the Tour clean for the first time, former doper. But, the man here is Stephen Roche, Irish cyclist. This is him at the top of La Plania, stage 21 here. Pushed himself so hard, ended up having to be given oxygen. And just a phenomenal time trialist. Anyway, that's just a little wall of fame and the rest of it. Ubiquitous mirror, hello. And rings up here, not used as much, so should be using them probably. Can't do chin-ups. Maybe one day I will be able to do that. That is the plan. So onto the weight stuff, because this is the stuff I use the most. So a bunch of kettlebells and medicine balls and things. I don't use them much at the moment. Those vinyl kettlebells are just sheer hell. Dumbbells. Now, normally before, this wasn't a major problem in my workouts because I just had one weight and I used to do 4 sets of 8, and now I'm doing sets where it's ascending pyramids, so I have to keep changing the weights on these. So I've got them all laid out, and it's actually a bit of a faff in the recovery time to do that. So I'm thinking of getting a third set of dumbbells so that I can just set them all up before I do the whole set and just get on with it. That's the sort of next addition to the gym. Very old weight bench, very basic weight bench, doesn't do anything special. And then this thing, which I got, I think I got it a year ago. It's just one of those cheap cable machines, right? Gym Master. So I think it's about 400 quid, and it really does do the job. Obviously, most of the things that are easy to do in the gym are push exercises, where you've got a set of weights like you have here, or the barbell that's over there. Pulling exercises is not so easy. So I bought, ages ago, a set of pulleys, just to try it out, to add weights on it, these things. And there's a cable somewhere that I hooked up to the top here, and it was like, yeah, this is amazing, the difference that I can do with these. So saved up a bit birthday money, saved up a bit Christmas money, and bought this, and it's fab. There's lots I can do on here that you can't do just with free weights, and yeah, I use this a lot. So this is the sort of new addition. And then we got the tool rack, which I made a video about if you can be bothered. And then we got all this junk, and it is junk, and we're not going to talk about that. There's wheels up here, and there's like a pub bike over there, and swimming stuff, and rucksacks and Bergens, and just everything you could imagine over there. Just a real mess. Then bike shoes and all the rest of it. And then last thing really in the gym to have a look at are these two bikes. This is my time trial bike that I built up from a frame. Had to source loads of equipment, get bits made, had to get these bits of aluminium here on the risers angled to get my arms into the right position. I used to work with a really amazing bike fitter called Chris Newman, who's really helped me out, good mate. Did a time trial video with him a little while back. Massive, well for me massive, I think it's a 58 Q-ring, those zip wheels that I bought myself for my 40th birthday, so like 8-9 years ago very nearly. Just stuff, just things on that bike, and it doesn't get used enough. It's as simple as that. The discipline, the sport that I grew up loving, I just don't do enough of at the minute, and hopefully maybe that will change. And then the Trek Madone, which I adore, and again doesn't get used as much as it does at the minute. I haven't fallen out of love with cycling. It's just not my top of the list thing at the moment, and it goes like that. I've had 2 periods in my life where I've not been super into stuff, and it's coincided weirdly with dominance by sort of 2 major dominant riders, one being Lance Armstrong and this one being Tadej Pogacar. Tadej Pogacar and Lance, great races and all, but I like a little bit more mystery in my racing. Plus, and I think this is the major problem, is they say this about Ferraris, don't they, that it's not about owning the Ferrari and buying the Ferrari, it's about being able to service it. These wheels, I don't know how well you can hear that. They have done, just tens of thousands of miles, and they need a service, and I just haven't got around to it. And that's one of the main reasons why it doesn't get used as much as it should. So that is a winter job. That's going to get done because next summer this thing is going to get beasted. And that is about it. So here's the quandary that I have. The quandary I have is pretty simple. There's a lot of the space that doesn't get used as much as it probably should. And everything with sports for me goes in phases, and I know for a fact bearings can't be that bad, wheels still going around. Everything goes in phases, and I know that I'll get back into cycling, and I'll know that I'll probably get back onto Trainer Road or Zwift or whatever it is, and use the Wahoo and use the treadmill and stuff like that. It's inevitable. At the minute I'm doing something a bit different. So what are your thoughts? What do we do here? Do we just mothball this or leave it as it is? I have the room to do the things that I need to do. I can do yoga and everything on the floor here. This is where I did that core video that I did the other day and couldn't finish. But that's the quandary. Do I redesign this space? I've got no problem with redesigning it at all. I've got the workspace down the end where I could store the bikes, and I've got this bit in the middle where I do the weights. Then I've got the sort of, cardio end of it here. Any thoughts would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, that is the week. I've done it. I've got through it. It's been okay. But yeah, hopefully a little bit more relaxed next week. I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching them this week and keeping me company throughout the whole thing. And I will see you when we do all of this again for the next one. Oh, and by the way, I only figured out the other day that it isn't 75 days, it's 84. 12 times 7 is 84, I think. I might have even got that wrong, but it certainly isn't 75. So it's more than 75 days I'm doing on this. Got the dates wrong, got the amount of days wrong, not sure what else I could have got wrong. And look, wheel's still going round.